Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Awakening with Sarah. I'm your host, Sarah Adams, musician and transformational life coach, bringing you powerful wisdom, helpful tools, and inspiring music to support you on your journey of awakening. Dr. Emy Tafelski is a licensed therapist turned integrative soul coach who helps women who have suffered an untethering loss reweave their souls into wholeness. Her work stems directly from her own healing journey following the loss of her mom, which left her shattered and untethered. It is her mission to revolutionize how women transform after loss so that they can release what holds them back and reclaim their power. She believes that when women fully tend to their wounds, including those that come from the culture around them, and align with wholeness, they are absolutely unstoppable. She offers transformative groups and one-on-one soul weaving services. So I'm really excited to invite Emy Tafelski to the show. Welcome, Emy.
Thanks so much, Sarah. I am very thrilled to be here and to have a chat about stuff.
Yeah. And going into this, I don't know that much about you, so it's really fun for me, to unfold what we're, who are you and what do you do and how did you come to do it? So maybe just kind of just give us a stream of consciousness, like how you were led to the work you do and the work
Yeah.
that you do.
Yeah. I am a licensed therapist turned transformational soul coach.
Oh, love it.
And thank you. What I do is I help women who have suffered an untethering, shattering loss reweave their soul into wholeness using my 4-phase process, appropriately named soul weaving. And I came to this work following the death of my mother in 2017.
Wow.
It was a death that really just shattered me and left me not knowing who I was in the world anymore. And as a therapist at the time, I it was my whole job to be the container, to create a safe container and hold space for people.
Right.
And I couldn't do it, right? Like I had no substance. I had no, there was no way I could be a container or a safe, hold space because I couldn't hold myself. So I took time to really just, the world around me told me over and over again to just get over it and kind of get back to business as usual. And so I rebelled against that, and I
Yes.
took space and took time and really did a deep dive and into my own healing journey, and took 12 months to reweave myself into wholeness. And I was also doing doctoral work at the time. So what I ended up doing was taking my journey and studying it and writing my dissertation about it. And with the purpose of understanding what happened to me and what I did, and how the process was, so that I could package it up and deliver it to others. And so it's my mission to transform, or to revolutionize how women transform after shattering loss.
That is so beautiful.
Thank
I
you.
resonate so much with that. And I love the way you managed to marry it to your academia, because there you were, right? And you were really in that, process, and you're like, well, I've got to do what's real, right? I've got to follow what's alive,
Mm-hmm.
but bringing that forward. And yeah, in my life, I've had a lot of romantic love activation and kind of addiction where, there's a fantasy bond out there. There's something missing in the self, and it's trying to seek it out there. And then
Yeah.
again and again, seeking it in places where it's not going to come back, because the nature of these activations is to force me back upon that emptiness within self. And it's like, I've done it 28 times now. And
Mm.
it's such the broken heart
Yeah.
of the loss is just, it's incredible. You think, okay, after 27, 28, the 28th is not going to be as bad. And it's just this, you're just like, oh my God. And that coming back, what's interesting for me, and maybe you could comment on this, is, I mean, we all have this inner rejection or inner brokenness in our landscape to a certain degree,
Mm.
right? And everyone falls on a place on that continuum, from the extremely broken, like, I can't believe you're still alive, that you haven't killed yourself. It's so intense. And then to the just kind of minorly broken. And like, I guess I was in the really extreme broken category, because it's been really all these years, since 1998, I've been doing this process of reclaiming
Mm.
soul pieces and coming in back to wholeness. And then as soon as I come back to wholeness, the next one comes to bring me
Mm.
to a greater level of wholeness. And it's only last night, in fact, it's amazing, I'm talking to you this morning, that last night I was able to meet this layer of broken heart from number 28,
Mm.
who shall
That's
not be named.
beautiful.
He's actually famous. Um, and to feel that broken heart. And my husband had just gotten home from his trip, and he was right next to me, and his love was right there. And the brokenness in my heart could not be stopped. It was like,
Mm.
it was its own island of agony. And
Yeah.
I was like, what do I do? And I'm just like, I might die of a heart attack. The pain is so great. And I'm like, I'm not going to sleep tonight in this pain. And so I just stroked my hair, I just went like this
Mm.
on the side of my head, like a mom for a baby would. And I said, I love you. I just
Mm.
so trying so hard to reach this broken heart. And I, as I stroked my hair and I held my heart, I felt the inside of my being that was
Mm.
at the effect feel me touch her. And
Mhm.
it's taken, it's taken almost 30, almost 40 years since my nervous breakdown, when the whole landscape cracked open. And
Mhm.
I've never felt anything like that. So it's been a nearly 40 years to get to the point where my love could be felt.
Yeah.
And that's just, to me, it's amazing that it's taken 40 years. And, in this landscape of separation consciousness,
Mhm.
in this fallen matrix, I guess, for me, I'm a matrix holder from the cosmic divine mother, right? So my
Mhm.
path is literally like taking Persephone from the underworld and reconnecting her to God. And
Mhm.
it's in the timing of the earth reconnecting to her source in Andromeda as her higher self. So it's kind of an archetypal mission, right? That follows the
Yeah.
human. Remember Neil Armstrong? They say like, one step for man, one step for mankind. That's like my process is always like that. It's like this. Okay, it's happening in the human, but it's totally happening in the timing of the earth.
Mhm.
So yeah, so that's just a little bit of a spectrum of the level, right, that I've been doing this.
Yeah.
So it's a topic that I'm so passionate about. And so, okay, so would you like to talk about these 4 steps a bit? Just kind of.
Yeah. I mean, I think that kind of you kind of just touched in the story you just told, you touched on one of them, which is actually phase 3, but I'll go in order.
Let's just jump right in. You
Yeah.
go in order. Yes, yes.
Yeah, I'll go in order just because it makes more sense. Although I'm not sure, although I describe it linear and we do it linear when I take people through it, I think after the first time you can pop around wherever you want, right? Because
Yeah.
it's anyway. Okay, so phase one is
I'm gonna take notes.
okay. Phase one is what I call attune. And it's really creating space for your feelings. And um, particularly when we talk about grief and loss, whether it's the loss of a being or
Mm-hmm.
something that you knew yourself to be that you're not anymore, or the loss of a career or your health or whatever we're talking about. Our culture doesn't really make space for us to feel the feelings, right? Like we
Certainly doesn't,
consistently,
right?
yeah,
Go back to work, right?
yep, go back to work, go get back to it. You should be over it. You should, like, come on, that was like 2 days ago. Like, you should be.
All the
um,
shoulds.
yeah,
Yeah.
lots of shoulds. And so this is why we begin here, right? Because my process is not about a spiritual bypass, right? We're about
Right. Yeah.
being with the grief and then, not instead of, but and then transforming, having a spiritual transformation at the end, right? So attune, we let the feelings in, we
Yeah.
create space for them, we befriend them, we don't drown in them, but we attend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we make a conscious and intentional decision to walk through what I call the healing portal,
Beautiful. Yeah.
which to me, when you have a loss that shatters you into bits and leaves you not knowing who you are in the world anymore,
Yeah.
it leaves an opening for you to go into the portal to healing, right? Like that, it when you're not held all together by the structure that you've always been held together by, and you're
Yeah.
floating, you can
Yes.
zoom out and see all the parts, like see, like, that what I call the tapestry of the soul.
I
So
love that. Oh.
see all the threads that have previously made up you.
Yeah.
And so that kind of brings us, that just automatically brings us into phase two, which is release, where we look at those threads and
Mm-hmm.
we notice, huh, this one is a discordant color. This one doesn't belong. Like, look, this one is attached somewhere else. It's not even mine. Like, it doesn't
Yeah.
originate within me. It originates. So, as an example for me, I had a thread that was disordered eating.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something I'd struggled with for many, many years, that I had tried to heal in many different ways. And once I got into this work, I could see it connect back to my mom.
Ah, there it is.
And I could see it. I could see how disharmonious, how, like, it wasn't mine. It didn't originate with me. It came from over there. And I could visualize unthreading it, unweaving it from the tapestry of my soul, and
Mm-hmm.
letting it go.
Yeah, sometimes they call that in the work that I do, like return to rightful owner, right? Because it's like
Yep,
it's not complementary to your soul. And you're just like,
exactly.
that's not mine,
Exactly.
that's so empowering when you can do
Mm,
that, right? And sometimes
yes.
we walk with those threads, like we live with those threads, and they do lead us to deeper compassion, right? Because we have journeyed with that particular thread. It does teach us, but it's also such a relief when we arrive at that juncture when we can give it back. Because some
Yeah.
of these things, it's like, to me, it feels like kind of a time release contract,
Hmm.
right? Like that contract has a certain like time release, like bread is going to mold
Yeah.
on, a certain date, and then we see it, right? When it's supposed to, be released. Like with my clients, it's like, oh, this is up, right? This is up. You get to
Hmm.
release this now.
Yeah. 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 Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And but those gifts, I think it's so important because I know what this, I feel like you would know this, but like sometimes when you have an aha and you realize, oh, this is a self-destructive pattern, this doesn't belong to me, then there can be this tendency to beat the self up, like, why didn't you
Mm.
discover it sooner, right? Which
Oh,
can create
yeah.
another painful experience. So you just have to be like, you know what, it was a gift. I had it as long as I had it. It's been a companion. I've learned things. It's made me larger in some ways in compassion, right? Because now you can work with people with eating disorder. That thread, right, trains you to help someone in that portion of struggle. So it's like, yeah, but okay, cool. So keep going. Yeah. Release.
So in Release, we do threads like that. We also do like unweave threads of patriarchy, and which for me was a big one was feeling not enough, right? Like that wasn't
boy.
like my worth and value was related to what I did and not who I am.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And with social media, with the constant like comparison and it's just like Instagram and oh my God, it's so easy to just be like everything is determined by what I show the world. And I'm going on a social media fast pretty soon. For like a week. I'm gonna attempt to just not, you know, I'll check my messenger because that's where friends chat.
Yeah.
But I'm not going on the wall. Like,
good for you.
No walls. Let's just see if I can live without going on the wall.
That's the difference between being outside of yourself and inside of yourself, I think. Like, I think we were much more, before social media, we were much more in tune.
Yeah, because that's all, because, right, the organic unfolding of our lives was what was calling us. So there wasn't this huge distraction saying, try to look pretty, try to look good, try to, try to be, who's going to love me today? Who's going to see me today? Just like, no. Do you remember the Truman Show? How his whole life, did you ever see that?
I don't think I ever saw that.
So I would highly recommend it. It's kind of crazy, but it's got Jim Carrey. It's one of Jim Carrey's early movies, and it basically relates to what we're talking about. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but basically everybody's on the Truman Show now. It's I mean, our lives are behind the camera, a lot of it, and imagine like when we didn't even have a cell phone, right?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't that long ago that we just lived. If we had to make a phone call, we had to find a payphone, right? And that engenders strength within self because you're with the self, right? You're not like, I can call this friend, I can look on Facebook. You're with yourself. And you may have the radio playing in your car, but you're with yourself. And nowadays it's like there's so many other things in this day and age, I think it is kind of rare to really just take that time, to attune, which is your number one, where you can feel and be with yourself, let alone be able to see what are these threats, right? Yeah, that's so valuable. So yeah, the patriarchy. Well, yeah, that feeling of not being good enough is so pervasive. It's so out there in so many people. And I think that all we have to do is think that thought and we tap into the whole collective, right? So it's such a delicate and it's such a sad state of affairs, that feeling of not being good enough. It's like, wait, you're a golden star, you're an emanation of divinity that no one else can be. So what if you're not famous? So what if you don't make this amount of money? But it's like you're you and we need you, right? And to have this complete tapestry of awakening humanity, right? We need everyone who wants to be here to contribute to this thing. And it's like we're only on the cusp of this collective awakening. Like we're only seeing the glimpse of our potential as who we are as one. So it's like, sometimes when I get really in despair and think, oh God, what am I doing here? What's the purpose? I just think, I don't want to miss this final act of this incredible rising and coming together that's coming in our near future. I want to hang on and see this. I want to be a part of it, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So what other like aspects of the patriarchy have you really seen that needed to be unwoven?
There's the not enough. There's sort of the idea that we're sort of women are here, in service.
Oh, yes,
like so. I mean, I think it comes back to or anchoring. My phase 4 is anchoring. But we have sort of been created, raised, whatever, to anchor
Right.
outside of ourselves,
Absolutely.
to anchor in men, or
Yes.
to anchor in family or our children or whatever, but not to find the power and the value and the worthiness internally.
Right. Yeah, that absolutely just hits home. It's like, I think there's almost this, whether you're a man or a woman, but especially in this feminine, because the feminine has been so, um, in a way, like buried, like the real ancient feminine, right? We have a kind of masculinized version of the feminine that acts like a man, that's like, I'm gonna do my job and get my degree and I'm gonna take care of business. But like the real womb of that ancient, receptive, earth connected feminine, we don't see that in too many places. And it's like, whoa, there's no model for the acceptance of that.
Yeah.
And yet when we have female bodies, we are that. We really are that. And yep. And the tendency to just like, my tendency to give my power away to men is really, it's very unconscious. It's just in there.
Yeah.
Like a switch.
Yeah. It's just woven in there, right? So that's another piece.
Let's pull that out.
Yep. That we can, we can unweave that and let that go. Like we don't need that in our tapestry.
Yeah. And then what would be like a good affirmation that would be the antidote to that one? I am woman. I am beautiful. I am worthy of greatness.
Yes.
I am worthy of
I am powerful.
I am powerful, right? I'm worth worshiping instead of worshiping. It's like, wait,
exactly.
I'm worth devoting an altar to and singing love songs to. Like, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I have, I know put this in the show notes, but I'm offering to the audience my 3 favorite meditations, and one of them is kind of exactly what we're talking about here, right? It's a meditation to lay on the ground and be held by Mama Earth.
Oh, yes.
So to bring you comfort and help you feel connected, even, when you're feeling lost and alone, to help you feel grounded and connected, even if there's no one around you, right? That like Earth is with us. Mama Earth is always available and always here. So this is the antidote to what we're talking about, right? Like this is resting into the feminine and allowing yourself to receive, to be held, to
I have a song exactly like this. I am half tempted to go grab my guitar and sing it to you. Yeah, or without my guitar, because my guitar's in the wrong key. But yeah, it goes like this. It's like, in the heart of the mother, we come home. We come home. In the heart of the mother, we come home, resting here upon her body, all returns, resting here upon her body, all returns. It's like, right? When that song came to me, I was like, I just was looking at a picture of me sitting in this beautiful meadow, and I was like, that picture needs a song, right? There was such peace in that picture in my face, and I was like, I'm gonna create a song. So I just like immediately the whole thing just came. It's like, okay, cool. Doesn't always happen like that with songs.
No. Beautiful.
But when it does, you're like, I'll take it. Right?
Yeah.
Wow. So your 3 favorite meditations. That's so beautiful. I can't wait to try those. So
Thank
the first
you.
one, do you want to tell us about the other two? Or shall we?
Sure. The first one is actually really, again, it's keeping in theme, right? It's space to feel your feelings and
Mm-hmm.
just some space to listen to me talk to you and tell you that your feelings are okay.
Yeah.
So it's kind of just allowance and validation of like whatever you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And then the third one is helping you create a mantra for yourself to
Mm.
bring yourself comfort when you're feeling lost and alone, and when you're feeling like, well, I don't know that I need more words than lost and alone. When you're feeling like there's no one that's standing with you, some words that you can remind yourself that you can comfort yourself with.
Yeah, yeah. I was listening to sometimes I like to dance to Michael Jackson because his music like really makes me move. And
Yeah.
next to my big aerobic songs was "You Are Not Alone," you know. And I just
Mhm.
thought, what a great affirmation to just "You are not alone."
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh. And sometimes we hear it more, and other times it's just kind of going through the motions, you know.
Mhm.
But
Yep.
it's always a beautiful gesture. Beautiful. So those are your three. Okay, so we got to step two,
We did.
and we're in
Yes.
the patriarchy, right? Releasing
Yes.
women as service, women
Yes.
as, and then the not good enough. Do
Yep.
you want to talk about another patriarchy, toxic?
Hmm.
Oh, I will
I
say
mean, I think that we have enough.
that's true. That's
So
true.
many of them.
Well, yeah,
Um,
and defining our role. Well, we kind of touched on this, but defining our role as like human doings, right? Like
yes.
what we do instead of
Yes.
really feeling
Beings.
the beingness, right?
Yeah.
And the value of how good you are at being.
Yeah.
I could
Yeah.
get a PhD in being because
Yeah. Exactly.
nothing in the world has worked for me.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yep.
Because it's always been about the being first. They're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
until you master being and self-love, we're not going to give you any gratification out there. It's like a fast
Mm,
track, right?
yep.
To go home. So
Yep.
as frustrating as it's been, it's like, okay, well, talk about guidance. Everything
Yeah.
else fails. So you're like,
Yeah.
okay, I guess the last place I'll check is this port called
Yeah.
me.
Yeah. Well, that's the patriarchy at work, right?
Yeah,
Like the last place
the
you love
last
is
place you
inside.
look is where all of the treasure is, right?
Yep.
Like, yeah, I can't remember who that singer is, but she does this song and she says, if you if you have not found, who you are inside, you will never find it outside.
Mm,
And then I think she sings, it's not returning. I'll have to find that song because it's so powerful.
yeah.
But anyway, yes, yes, yes. The last place is the best place to
Yep.
go there first. And
Yeah.
all the other self will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Right.
It falls into place after that.
It's like the Bible, right? Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all else is added.
Mm,
Seek ye first self-love, and everything else will reflect that. And
yeah.
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, and so do you want to go to the third step?
Yeah. So the third phase is called reclaim.
Ah, nice.
And so we've done this work, right, of removing some threads, and maybe we've left like some holes in the tapestry that so for me, I removed the thread of not enough.
Yeah.
And in the reclaiming piece, what I wove back in was the concept of always worthy.
Always worthy. Yeah, born worthy, right?
Yep. Yep. Always worthy.
Oh, always
So,
worthy.
and I also reclaimed, so that, there are parts, right, that we jettison in order to survival mechanisms, right? Like
Yes, yeah.
messages that we got that it wasn't okay to be who we are. So we cut that part off and dumped it on the side
Hmm.
of the road and kept going.
Yeah.
So in reclaim, we
Soul
we go back.
retrieval.
Yeah, we go
Mhm.
back and we collect those parts and we bring them home and we weave them back into the whole.
Oh, yeah. Ah, soul retrieval. So many soul retrievals. My husband, he's like, well, I wish we could have had children, but we had 16. Because every one of my inner children came
Yeah,
back as a baby and was
yeah,
like, Daddy, he's like, what
yeah,
color shoes do you wear? Like, one of them was like, I love cows and my name is Tiffany, you know, and one of them was like, I'm Analea and I'm from the stars and I love rainbows. I mean, it's like a different person.
yeah. That's
So
heavy work.
he's like, yeah, we've had children. I think we've
Mm.
kind of, they never physicalized, but
But you had work to do with raising them.
with raising them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. So
yeah.
that's beautiful. Soul retrieving is such a beautiful work, bringing them into the tapestry. And
Yep, yep.
they all have those gifts, right? They all
Yep.
bring these new, like fractals, they're all like little fractals in this great
Mm.
jewel.
Yep.
Cool, beautiful. And so reclaiming the not enough to like always worthy,
Yep.
and then reclaiming the power
Lost.
outside, like
Yep.
anchoring outside and serving outside. What would be a good reclamation statement for that?
It
Women,
is safe to be all that I am.
it's safe to be all that I am. Gosh, I just hear women are beautiful. Women are
Yeah.
powerful, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
it's safe to be all that I am. Yeah, and that brings up to me one of the things I think that operates in my life actually is the fear of persecution, right? The
Mm-hmm.
fear of being visible,
Yep.
right? And because if you believe in past lives, we've been like burned as witches. We've been like the
Yep.
minute we really have stood in our full power, we're
Yep.
annihilated. And
Yep.
so there's a strong like classical conditioning, like don't go to that hot stove, right?
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
and and staying small and staying kind of victimy and staying depressed and staying hopeless, right, and powerless is like, oh, it's safe. I'm not
Yep.
standing in my bigness, right? I'm not expanding my wings. They don't get cut off if
Yep.
I don't expand them.
Yeah.
But
So it's
there comes that point, right, where to keep contracted is, what's that? I think it's a niacin nin, and that famous quote,
about the butterfly.
the time, yeah, when to stay in
Yeah.
the bud is more painful. The
Yeah.
fear of blossoming is the pain of staying in the bud is stronger than the fear of blossoming.
Yeah.
And so it's like you hit that point and you're like, oh, to hell with it. I'll
Yeah.
risk my death. I remember reading this line in, wow, it might have been in Man's Search for Meaning. It was one of the books about the
Mm-hmm.
concentration camps. And I remember him describing this woman who danced like she was going to the gas chamber,
Mm.
and she did this like as she was going to her death. She was just like dancing like a butterfly, just soaring and spinning, and the guard shot her. But it was like she went out with that joy. It was like, I will be my joy. I will
Yeah.
be my joy. That's how I will go out. And that always touched me so much.
Yeah.
And the thing is now, as much shadow, we still see a lot of shadow in our world, but it's feeling a lot safer for those who are really, bringing the good stuff
Mm.
of self-love and self-empowerment, that our time has come, right? That our planet has been in this, I think it's like a 13,000 year, it's really a 200,000 year dark cycle, but 13,000 years. My galactic grid working team talks about how 13,000 years ago there was a real lockdown that happened. And so it's time, right? It's time for us to be done with this cycle. And so those
Yeah.
of us who do rise up in our in our glory, we'll be safe.
Yeah.
And I couldn't say that like 5 years ago. I don't know if I could have said that. You know,
Yeah.
Coronavirus, I think, was a big part of the changing of the guard.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really feel like now the God worlds are really with us. Our true parents are here. And so all of the children of the true parents, which is the Christos, you know, the Christed being, will be protected. Unless there's a contract, some kind of a redemptive vehicle, like the whole Kennedy family, let's face it, Martin Luther King, the Kennedys, all redemptive vehicles for the sake of the awakening of humanity, right? So if you have a contract to go out, you're going to go out.
Yeah.
So you might as well just have joy and empowerment and stand in your fullness while you go out. And so anyway, I feel like that fear of visibility, anybody who has that out there, that fear of persecution, that fear of visibility, you're safe. It's safe now, right? When we were witches, when we were in so many different times, it wasn't safe.
Yeah.
But I feel like now it really is safe. And it's safe to be bizarre and woo-woo. Like I'm very bizarre and woo-woo. I talk about Andromeda. I talk about aquafairy and human genetics merging. I talk about massive grid work, you know, and I do it in public. And it's like, you know, I'm still here.
Yeah.
So the permission slip, right? It's scary though, you know, it's also scary to leave behind an identity that you've always known yourself to be. You know what I mean? Like you've always known, like those are the shoes I wear. That's the coat I put on every day. And all of a sudden you're going over here and doing something completely different, right?
Yep.
And the body responds. The kidneys are like, are we dying? Right? Because this is so much change that this must be death. You have to say to the kidneys, nope, this is just a lot of transformation, babe.
Yep.
Right? We are human butterflies, right? Like the butterfly consciousness, right? While it's becoming the black goo and the imaginal cells are singing the song that orchestrates the body of the butterfly, there isn't a consciousness there, like an ego in the human that says, I am this, don't take me from this idea. Right? But we're doing it in this human bodies with these egos that are like, I am this and you will not remove me from this, right? This is my life. I will die before you remove me from this anchor. And it's like, well, I'm sorry. The codes are coming from the sun. We're going this way. So either you surrender or you go kicking and screaming, right? Because you're going.
Yeah.
There's not, it's non-optional, right? If you're staying on this planet, you're ascending into love-based reality. There's no other option. It's like, there's no like door number 2. No, there's one door. And if you're not going through that door, then you're going to go continue on another planet that still wants duality because we're done. We're graduating from duality. It's like, thank you. It's been nice.
Time for something else.
Exactly. Okay. So the reclaiming, coming back to this. So I've got always worthy, born worthy. Ooh, can we just breathe into that for a minute? I want to anchor that one. We are born worthy. How about one like I receive and find my validation from my own being, or something better, my validation of my own being is the only thing that truly empowers me. Right? Because when I'm thinking some man, oh, I wish he'd see me. I wish he'd read my poem. I wish he'd just talk to me, especially the famous. Now I'm wrapped up in this famous shit. You know, it's like, oh, you're rich and you're famous. Yeah. And if only I could be famous. I could be lifted by you because you're famous. Oh my God. So the antidote to that is like what? Mine is my validation of myself is what matters. Right? To like start competing with that program. It's like, wait, mine is what really matters. And to really get that actually mine is the only thing that's ever going to actually heal what's
Mhm.
what's broken.
Yep.
It's not going to be someone else that's
Yep.
coming out of the somewhere, because like I'll still feel empty, like laying in bed next to my loving husband. The broken heart is there, right?
Yeah.
Until my love is felt by my
Mhm.
core.
Mhm.
Of course, it's so profound, right? It's so
Yeah.
simple in a way.
Yeah.
So simple. Go home and love yourself,
Yeah.
and the whole earth ascends. Basically, we all do
Exactly.
that. We all do that, and it's game over.
Yep.
The whole holographic giving our power away. It's like it's over.
Mhm.
Just dancing in the home together.
Yeah.
So, what about? Are we ready to go to step 4?
Yeah.
Okay.
That one, I mean, it's the wrap up, right? It's called Anchor. And it's where we sort of like tighten the whole weave of what's the whole tapestry now. Like we kind of pull it tight and we
Yeah.
anchor it into our body, and we like get the felt sense of what this feels like in us, on us, with us. And we anchor it into the earth. We just kind of like we anchor, and we remind ourselves how we got here, right? Like the other 3 phases, so
Yeah.
that we, because this isn't like a once and done thing. Like, yes, it's a process, right? So we've done this releasing, reclaiming, anchoring, but there are things that happen sometimes that like shift the weave, right? So
Right.
just
Yeah.
remembering that you can, because now you know how you can go back through the steps when you need to.
Right. And I see it so much like a spiral staircase in a way,
Mhm. Yeah.
or a cyclical journey to reclaim ever greater integration of our
Mhm.
soul, right? Because
Yep.
we're in a time where we're pretty much excavating and restoring the entire soul. And so it's like we get a chunk at a time. And then
Yeah.
we have to repeat the whole process. It's like wash, rinse, repeat.
Yep.
But each time
Exactly.
the tapestry weaves in and becomes more authentically like who we actually are in our totality, right? But we couldn't handle just like grabbing all of it. It's like we'd probably explode
Yep.
and see each other as stardust on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Oh, Emy, it's just great. I love such a topic, such a resonant,
Oh,
topic
yeah.
with my life.
Good.
It doesn't always happen like that. Sometimes my guests, it's I'm really in their world, but when you're talking to me, it's like I'm in my world. Like
Yeah.
this is my world. Yeah. And, it's interesting. One of the Do you know Clarissa Pinkola Estez's work? I bet you do. Yes, yes. And one of the her the story of the handless maiden in the underground wilderness is one of, like, for me, that's like the archetypal story of
Mm,
this whole journey
mm,
of reweaving and reclaiming and anchoring, and the sacred marriage, because in the end, the masculine comes back to the feminine, and just the silver hands and growing the true hands, and the hands being, chopped off because of the purity and the innocence and the beauty that comes as we feel the true vulnerability and the truth of who we are. The devil can't take us
yeah.
when we're weeping the tears, like when we're really feeling our feelings and we're not in the defenses in the head. Those
Mhm.
really self-sabotaging, soul murdering programs can't take us anymore. And
Yeah.
so it's like our safety is in our willingness to feel it all, right?
Yep.
And I mean, I've been on antidepressants. I had my stint with Prozac from 91 to 93, and God knows there's been times since then that I've wished I had something to numb, the agony. But looking back, every time I stepped, straight into the depth of the pain, the reward and the reclamation that came through that was just incredible. And so anyone out there, right, who's like, I don't know, I'll just keep taking my Wellbutrin or my, and there's a place for it. And I'm certainly not saying that I know better than you, but I will say that ultimately, the only way we're really going to weave the DNA is to uncover the authentic emotion, right? That's in there. And it doesn't mean that that has to be right now. If you're someone who's having comfort in pills, they can be a great bridging into empowerment. But that's it. They should only be a bridge, right? They really should only be a bridge, and then you step off and you feel what's really there. So that's just my opinion, and you can't, nobody can give another person's truth, but that's certainly my truth. And yeah, so it's a big topic. It's a huge topic. And so yeah, women who run with wolves, and that story in particular. Also, the red shoes is pretty amazing, right? Because
it's been a long time since I touched the book.
yeah, it's okay. It's totally okay. For a while there, it was just a Bible. I would go to it any old time and just like turn a page and open it. What do they call that when you do that? Like just divining a page.
I don't know, but it's lovely.
And then you just read it and you go, whoa, that is really amazing. I do that with gene keys. I'll just go through the book that has the 64 gene keys, and I'll just be like, bling, oh, gene key 33, and I love doing that. And then, but the other thing that I wanted to ask you, or actually tell you about, there's a song by Murray Kyle, and Murray Kyle is out of Australia. Has a song called Weave Again. I think you would love it. I'll send it to you on Messenger, and I'll put it in the show notes too.
Okay.
So everyone has it. But yeah, it's all about this, and it's so beautiful.
Lovely.
Yeah. So, gosh, we got through the 4 steps. Is there anything else that you want to share with us, Emy? I know we've got your free gift. We get to have these 4 steps, and
not the 4 steps. You get 3 meditations.
Yeah. Tell me what we get.
Yep. So it's 3 of my favorite meditations that are sort of the foundational practices that I would say probably fit best into the attune phase if we were going to try to situate them within the whole thing.
Okay.
But it's really just 3 meditations that can bring you comfort and help you feel less alone.
Beautiful. I love it. Wonderful. I'm trying to give away your whole. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Get myself in trouble. It's that, cat energy. Like the cat energy. I have a bobcat that's like my power animal right now. I have dolphins and other things, but the bobcat's like kind of in the front. And like cat energy is like unedited speech. It just it just goes, and then you're like, what did I just say? You have to like, it's like, so I'm like, okay, let's call in some owl, right? Because owl can kind of be like, what's appropriate in the moment, right? Yeah. So my cat energy, it gets me into trouble. Oh, wow. Well, it's been a beautiful time talking. I think it's almost been an hour. So perhaps, are you feeling complete? Is there anything more that you would like to share?
I don't think so. I'm feeling pretty complete. I am, registration is open for the Soul Weaver group experience if anyone's interested. And at any time you can sign up to do it one-on-one with me if you want to. And so you'll probably put the website for that in the show notes.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it when they do it one-on-one, is it an online class or is it sessions with you?
It's yes, sessions. It's sessions with me over the course of 8 weeks.
Beautiful.
It's one-on-one. It does take place online. But it's and we work our way through the 4 phases.
And where are you located physically? I'm just curious.
I'm in Florida.
Oh, what part of Florida?
St. Petersburg.
Oh, nice. I've just been I have a couple friendships over there. Maybe when I make it over there, I'll be able to see you.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Okay, well, I will put all of these good details in the show notes so that people can
Perfect.
find you and work with you. And it's been such a pleasure to be with you
Yes.
today, Emy.
Yeah.
And thank you for the courage, of your path and the beautiful treasure that you've excavated from this deep loss of your mom, and how that will serve so many in their journeys. So thank you so much.
You are most welcome. Thank you for having
Okay.
me.
All right. Bye-bye, Emy. Thanks
Bye.
for joining us, everyone, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.